right, get those retweets out.
Got 'em.
Second. All right, welcome into Dear Mr. Fantasy Week 11. Mincy, where in the world are you?
I'm in San Antonio, Texas, in my hotel room in the Drury Inn, and might as well call it the Drury Inn because I had, without a doubt, I just fell off a cliff yesterday. Is basically what it felt like. I mean, it was a tough day. I played a $1,400 $1 million guaranteed poker tournament here, and it paid the top 39. And I started at 10 a.m. Stephen, and I got knocked out at 9:30 p.m. Pocket Kings straight into Pocket Aces and 45th, six from the money. And it was like a $2,500 cash, and so that sucked. And then I'm a big Ole Miss guy. Obviously, everybody knows we got the dog shit beaten out of us at Arkansas. I mean, it was like 42-12 in the fourth. And I went 0-7 in my last 7 games last night. So all I can say about today is that it's not yesterday. New day today, boys. Let's get it.
Can confirm that. All right, we're going to get to our plays momentarily. First, this show is brought to you by Roman. 42%, almost half of men experience moderate to extensive hair loss in their lifetime. There are options available to help stop balding in its tracks. The sooner a person starts treatment for hair loss, the easier it is to keep their hair that they have. Roman offers prescription medication and over-the-counter treatments, and they also offer specially formulated shampoos and conditioners. Research shows that 80% of men who use prescription hair loss treatments had no further hair loss after 2 years. That is an awesome stat.
Wow.
Research also shows that men who use hair loss treatments feel better about their overall experience, which is just what I would think would be common sense. Getting started is simple. Complete a free online visit, then a U.S. licensed healthcare professional will work with you to find the best treatment plan. If medication is appropriate, Roman ships it to you directly in discreet packaging with free 2-day shipping. The whole process is straightforward and discreet, and treatments start at $20 per month on a quarterly plan. Go to ro.co/FFF. That's ro.co/FFF, and you'll get 20% off your first order. Awesome offer from Roman. That's ro.co/FFF for 20% off your first order. Mincy, how's your card look today?
Man, it's ready to roll. I feel, like I said yesterday, kind of put a hurting on me, but definitely like some games and some props. Prop-wise, I think Jared Goff's going to struggle at the Giants today. I'm kind of banking on it.
It's supposed to be windy.
Yeah, it's supposed to be windy. The thing is, he kind of can struggle in games like that in cold weather on the road, Cali guy. He's kind of due a really bad game, too. So I was looking – a few of the guys I like with Goff. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to think Andy Dalton's going to struggle. The Saints have 3 offensive linemen out, too, so blocking Aaron Donald's a problem. And while we're at it, what the hell are we doing? Like, what is trotting Andy Dalton out there going to do for anyone? If you're going to suck and you're not going to make the playoffs, at least let the freaking fan base be entertained. And Jameis Winston or Taysom Hill at least provides entertainment value. This shit, anyway, they're just like, if you're going to suck, at least have hope. We don't have a first-round pick. We suck. At least let me be entertained. What's trotting Andy Dalton going to do? I'm sorry.
Mickey Loomis, after that incredible, was the 2017 draft that has produced no Super Bowls. This team, their window is past closed. It is shut, and there is no immediate hope for relief. And honestly, I love it.
Cam Jordan, by the way.
Cam Jordan missing his first game.
197 game streak missing today. I mean, that's you got to give him credit. I mean, what a warrior. But, yeah, I think Dalton will struggle. Some other ones. I know Jonathan Taylor's over-under is high, but I still think he kind of got it going last week after been struggling for a while. I kind of think he'll have a good game. They're going to try to run the ball against Philly. I think I actually think they'll compete too. So that was another one of the ones I was looking at. But what? Oh yeah, and I think Ravens Carolina is going to be low scoring, and Carolina's going to. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to say Baker Mayfield's going to have a crappy game today, but I'm kind of looking for that one to be a little low scoring.
Yeah, a couple props I like. I put these all out in the Big Brain Parlay this morning. So it's a 4-legger. It's plus 865. I like all these individuals as straights, and I bet them all as straights, but obviously I like them parlayed together as well. Jalen Hurts under 42.5 rushing yards. He's done that in the last 6 of 7 games. He's averaging just under 30 yards rushing in those contests. Amon-Ra St. Brown over 6.5 catches. It'll be windy in New York. Look for a lot of checkdowns. It's New Jersey, actually. East Rutherford, New Jersey. Look for a lot of checkdowns. He also is averaging 10 targets the last 3 weeks. Justin Fields, over 247.5 rushing and passing yards combined. I, for the life of me, cannot understand why this line is so low. It's been low the past few weeks. He just keeps crushing it. The Falcons stink at defense. Their last 3 games look okay because they played the Panthers twice in those 3 weeks. The Bears are going to shred them, and that's another reason I like Chicago over 23.5 points. They're averaging 31 points their last 4 weeks. Again, Atlanta is awful on defense, so I absolutely love those 2 legs. I love each of these legs, honestly. Big Brain Parlay plus 865. It is on my Twitter and the Trusted Data Twitter.
Yeah, that Bears-Falcons game could get – I mean, they both run the ball, which could shorten it, but that game could get kind of wild. I think Cordarrelle is going to have a bounce-back game today too. I know he had a horrible game at Carolina on that Thursday, but that was kind of a weird game. Atlanta's a different team at home than they're on the road.
Yeah. All right, let's get into a bunch of these questions. Reminder to like stream, which is always helpful. All right. People are complaining about the tech issues. I'm plugged in right now. Minty looks clear as day to me, so hopefully everything is coming across clear. From Clayton Winter, start 2, half-point PPR, Gabe Davis, DJ Moore, Amari Cooper, and Jacoby Meyer. Start 2 of these guys. Minty, who do you like?
I'm going to go Gabe Davis and Amari Cooper in the same game. I like the fact that this is a Detroit game in the Dome. Over-under's high at 50. Buffalo's dealing with a lot of weird stuff this week with the snow, and they had trouble getting there. And, it's like it's kind of weird. They're coming off back-to-back losses. Kind of a hard one to read. But Cooper's been getting a lot of targets. Gabe Davis on that turf could bust some long ones. I don't trust DJ Moore with Mayfield. And, look, I just don't trust anybody in that Pats passing game, just in general. So that's who I'm rolling with.
Yep, absolutely. Let's go with from Mike Norm, George Kittle or Cortland Sutton, the dreaded TE versus wide receiver question, which is an interesting one, especially with Russell Wilson being the quarterback of the wide receiver.
I sort of like Sutton's over-under was 60.5 today, and I was actually looking at the over against the Raiders. I thought he might have a pretty good game. Kittle's playing Monday night in Mexico City against Arizona.
Yep.
God, it's like one of those things where you hate to ever say bench Kittle because he's like a star tight end, but I kind of like Sutton today.
Yeah, I think whenever you have a tight end against a wide receiver, especially a tight end who blocks as well as George Kittle and is using that role a lot, I would prefer the wide receiver role.
It's also weird too with the Niners. Like they've got a lot of time. You got Kittle, Debo, and Ayuk and Juwan Jennings. And McCaffrey, but they prefer to grind it out running the ball, and a lot of times the game flow and script will hurt their fantasy values.
Yep. From Shark Talk, Allen Robinson III, who's been wildly disappointing this year, Brandon Ayuk, Drake London, or Gabe Davis. Ayuk has been hot.
Yeah.
Gabe Davis has the highest ceiling maybe of any fantasy wide receiver we've seen this year.
London's not bad either.
Drake London's not bad, especially in this matchup against. I think this game's going to be like high 50s, 60s.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a shootout. And both teams are going to run it a lot, but I just think there's going to be a lot of scoring because both teams cannot stop each other.
It's so brutal. The Gabe Davis questions are always so tough because T.Y. Hilton used to be like this back in the day.
Yeah.
But it's like he's either going to score 30 points or 3. And so, it's so polarizing. It's tough because he's got his floor is terrible, but his ceiling's through the roof. And so it's a very hard thing. Who do you go with here?
I'm going to go Gabe. Honestly, Ayuk is going to be my third choice here. I'm going to go Gabe Davis 1, Drake London 2.
Ayuk 3. Okay.
And then
Definitely
Ayuk,
Robinson 4.
yeah, by like a pretty cavernous gap.
If you're desperate in that Rams game, I think if you're like in a really desperate spot, I think, like I was telling Shay, I think Van Jefferson is like an okay start today if you're in a really bad spot. Because the game being in the dome, the Saints past, he hadn't been good, and Cooper Kupp's out. So it's
I kind of think Ben Skoranek is like not a terrible pickup.
Ooh, yeah, I could see that, especially in PPR.
Yeah. Buenos dias, senores. Need an RB2 for my 16-team league. Jalen Warren, James Cook, or Kyren Williams. This is interesting. So Williams didn't do a ton last week. He got a couple catches, but as far as productivity, not great. James Cook almost scored, almost cashed my Cook brothers touchdown.
That was great. I love that bet. Just shout out. That was a cool bet. That was cool.
Jalen Warren has been steady for Pittsburgh in a backup role. Big rivalry game today against the Bengals. I'm kind of leaning James Cook of these three. Jalen Warren, I think, offers probably the safest floor. But I like James Cook's upside just because Josh Allen has not thrown a lot of touchdown passes recently. Cook's been getting in the game. The Nyheim Hines pickup, I don't think you need to worry about. So James Cook would be my play here.
Yeah, I think the thing with Cook and just rookie running backs in general, you always like draft them and you want instant return, but they really usually come on in the second half of the year. And I think Cook's kind of being integrated a little more and more, so I like it. Now over-under's hot.
Yep. Shout out this feedback from Lamar. Love the show, boys. No tech issues.
Shout out to – I'm going to just shout Lamar out on this too because, like, the tech stuff, and you obviously are a producer of the Yak and deal with this, it's like one of the thankless jobs where it's like if things go smoothly, everybody just assumes it's smooth and you don't hear, like, good feedback. But when it goes wrong, the world comes at you. So appreciate the compliment, Lamar.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. From ZD52, I'm in a bad spot for tight end. Isaiah Likely with Mark Andrews coming back today. Logan Thomas or Jonnu Smith.
Logan Thomas is banged up too, right? I think he's playing, but he's nicked up.
Yeah, Washington's hot though.
They are hot. They're in a letdown spot today though after that Monday night win, 3-point favorite.
Yeah. I kind of like Likely out of this.
I think so too because Andrews is banged up, and then the receiving core is still kind of weak.
That's the main reason is the receiving core is weak. It's like Rashad Bateman's out, Duvernay's in there. You got James Prochet, but even with Mark Andrews back, like I think he gets a couple of catches.
Yeah, and Likely could find the end zone.
This is an interesting one from AV. Cole Kmet, who's been super hot. So I actually took his prop to score 2 touchdowns today, something he's done in 2 straight weeks, plus 2,800.
28?
Yeah.
Wow, dude. What was he the last 2 weeks?
He's plus 300 to score once.
What was he the last 2 weeks to score? Golly, if he's 28.
Probably similar. So like it
probably,
hasn't moved
probably more because he actually did it the last 2 weeks.
I was surprised it was such a long shot, but an interesting one for sure.
Dude, good.
Who do you like of these three? Cole Kmet, Elijah Mitchell, or Zeke?
The Zeke thing's weird because, I know he's back playing today in Minnesota, and that's a higher over-under, but, like, it's still, like, Pollard's playing so good, and clearly he's better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Elijah Mitchell got a lot of carries last week, and I think you're going to see that more and more, too. I know everybody, like, they've got to be careful about McCaffrey's usage because, he's just really easy to run into the ground, and they're trying to win that division and make the playoffs. And then Kmet's hot. This is actually a tough question. All 3 of these are pretty good options.
Yeah. Honestly, it's probably the least sexy answer of these 3 because Cole Kmet's so hot and Zeke is just a big name, but I think Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah, and Mitchell, he's coming off that injury and his legs are fresh, and if you watch last week, they're giving him a lot of carries. So I think he's probably guaranteed to get the most touches.
Yep, agreed there. All right, the rest of this show is brought to you by Chevy. We've obviously started to see pretenders and contenders emerging this fantasy season. There's one player that is never a pretender and always a contender, and that player is Chevy Silverado. Silverado shows up week in and week out with unstoppable grit and determination. The Chevy Silverado is the ultimate tailgate flex with available multi-flex tailgate and power outlets built right into the bed. And the first ever ZR2 is the ultimate off-roading machine. From tailgates and stadium lots to off-road adventures, Chevy Silverado has you covered. Head over to Chevy.com to learn more about the Silverado. Mince, you ever been off-roading?
Yeah, I actually have, man. My family's got a farm in the Mississippi Delta. I've gone off-roading, yeah. And then, I'm from North Louisiana, a lot of rednecks like doing that stuff. It was never really my thing.
That's like what mudding is, right?
Yeah, I was never the biggest, I've done, in high school, people used to do that stuff. It was never really my favorite thing, but I always would ride. I wouldn't drive. But.
Yeah, I would actually love to do it. So shout out Chevy Silverado. That's what I would like to do it in for the sponsorship. Great partner. All right, let's see.
One guy I want to mention today as you're getting questions. I like Kadarius Toney today a lot.
Yeah, okay.
I just think that with Mecole Hardman's out for 4 weeks, and then Juju Smith-Schuster has a concussion. So I think, you look at KC, I think both Toney and Marquez Valdes-Scantling could be in spots to have good games tonight.
Here's an interesting one from our guy, Michael Kent, pick 3 with Kadarius Toney in there. DeAndre Hopkins, CeeDee Lamb, Davante Adams, or Kadarius Toney. Do you think Kadarius Toney moves into this wide receiver 1 discussion?
I mean, I like him a lot, but man, I can't bench any of my stars.
Agreed. Yeah.
He looked good last week with 90 yards and a touchdown, but you're talking about 3 guys that are
legitimate number 1.
Top. I know D-Hop was in 6 games, but those guys are top 3-round picks. You got to. Toney could go off, but he's got to prove it to me before I put him in this category.
Yeah.
And Lamb's playing well right now.
Yeah.
I remember he had a little slower start to the year, but he's coming
on. Yep. From Ian Pertz, Isaiah Pacheco or Damian Harris at flex. This is interesting because they're both kind of rotational guys. Pacheco did get some carries last week. Damian Harris coming off the injury. They're also off a bye. So an interesting one there. Ramondre Stevenson's kind of taken over the lead in that backfield. What are you thinking about the game tonight, Mincy, overall? Chiefs-Chargers.
Well, so it feels like those games are always extremely close in this series. I mean, they always are. But the Chargers are just running so low on bodies. I mean, you're talking about a team, especially on offense.
It looks like their guys are going to play tonight.
Yeah, the receivers are, but they still have their left tackle, right tackle, and one of their guards out, and Gerald Everett, their tight end, and are really banged up on defense. But Harris had a good game, didn't he? The first Jets game, I think he had a couple touchdowns, if I remember right?
Yeah.
Pat's owned the Jets, too. I think I'm leaning Harris, but Chico's got, you watch him, though, he looks good. He's explosive. He runs like a 4.37. But that's still a tough running back combo to go at. I think I'm leaning Harris here slightly.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. We should probably just go over the officially active inactive list from Field Yates. Active Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews, David Njoku making his return, Devontae Parker, and then the 2 big pickups for the Eagles, Linval Joseph and Ndamukong Suh. Officially inactive, Gus Edwards, which absolutely matters, and then Eno Benjamin, the new pickup. Kyer Elam also back for the Bills. But,
that's big. So you mentioned Noah Edwards a lot. We're getting some Kenyon Drake questions. He had a really good game in New Orleans a couple weeks ago, and I think you can start him today too.
Yeah, I think you absolutely got to start Kenyon Drake. And the Ravens' backfield is absolutely maddening, but it seems like today there should be some clarity with J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards both out. You never know what Justice Hills is going to do, but it seems in the past it seems like Drake has gotten a lion's share when it's been just those 2.
Yeah, and Drake had, I believe, 24 carries for 93 yards and 2 touchdowns in the Monday night game I went to against New Orleans. I mean, that's a lot of work.
Yep. I like this question. We got a tight end question from Noah Young. Greg Dulcich or David Njoku, half-point PPR. Dulcich just looked good for Denver. Obviously, he's got Russell Wilson throwing on the ball. But who do you like in this?
I got to go Njoku. I don't get me wrong. I do think Dulcich has looked pretty good, but I like Njoku. I think he's having a really good year, and I like that the over-under in that game, 50. I mean, I think it could get a little wild in Detroit. I think that could make, the indoor thing, instead of playing in 4 feet of snow, could lean this game to get a little crazy. So I'm going to go with Njoku.
Yeah. This is an interesting question from Henry Osborne.
Oh, God.
Lamar Jackson or Justin Fields? This is a tough one.
God, man. Honestly, I'm going Fields.
Ride the hot hand. Go Justin Fields. He's got a better matchup, too. Carolina, Baltimore's missing a lot of guys, but they're playing Carolina. They're going to have this game, I think, in the barn at the end of the first half. Like, I don't think that we're really going to see a lot of Lamar Jackson doing Lamar Jackson things in the second half. I think
he also had an illness too. They may be,
yes. Yep. I think Justin Fields is unbenchable right now. Like, unless you have Patrick Mahomes and Justin Fields, and even then, I'm thinking about it. Justin Fields is absolute must-see TV, and he's must-start in fantasy.
And this game in Atlanta could get freaking wild. This is another thing where it comes back to, I say this all the time, I mean, that over-under is, 50 in Atlanta, and it's 41 in Baltimore. So.
Yeah, no, that's always a good barometer. Here's a question from Nate Edgar. Pick one, half-point PPR. We got George Pickens, Curtis Samuel, Kareem Hunt, or risk it to see if Hollywood Brown plays on Monday Night Football, but no real insurance plan if he doesn't play. I think because of that, I don't think you can really roll with Hollywood Brown. It's just
Ray's notorious hard to read. And plus, they don't know if Kyler is going to play either.
Yeah. Kareem Hunt, Curtis Samuel, George Pickens.
Pickens has been looking better.
Yeah, and Curtis Samuel has made some plays. Kareem Hunt is really hit or miss.
Yeah.
I would probably go Curtis Samuel, if I'm being honest. Okay. I know Pickens has looked good, and it's a rivalry game, so I think that could amplify his potential.
He's got, now that Claypool's out of there, he's got more of a defined target share too.
Yeah, I would still go. I think Samuel has the safest floor of this group.
Okay.
And I think his upside is pretty similar. Here we go from our guy Lamar. 12-man PPR. We go Garrett Wilson or Josh Palmer. It looks like the Chargers are getting their receivers back today, so I'd be hesitant on Palmer.
Well, but I'm hesitant on Wilson because every time the Jets play the Pats, it's a nightmare.
I believe he had over 100 yards against them last time.
Okay.
Or at least over 95.
Yeah, he did. No, he did, despite all the turnovers. You're right. The problem is Keenan Allen. This is an all hands on deck game for the Chargers playing the Chiefs on Sunday night too. So I think because of that, I guess I think I got to go Wilson.
You're going with Wilson because of that.
I think so. Just because, like you said, if Keenan Allen and Mike Williams are playing, Palmer's number 3.
Yep.
I just don't trust Keenan Allen's game time, but I don't know. I don't try. I think Williams will play. The Keenan Allen thing, I'm dicey on.
Yeah. Half-point PPR. Start 3 of this group. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Jacoby Myers, Antonio Dixon, Kenyon Drake, and David Montgomery. So half-point PPR.
I know Montgomery's been falling off lately, but this is a really good matchup in Atlanta today.
Yeah, agreed.
I think I'm going MVS, Kenyon Drake, and David Montgomery. Talk me out of it.
Okay. Gibson is an interesting one, just because he can give you more run.
McKissick's out the year, too, so Gibson might be more third down back now, too.
Yeah. I can get with yours. MVS, Kenyon Drake, and David Montgomery. Shout out Jonesy30. Just straight up shout out. Thank you, Alejandro. And yes, go bet Spain, Barstool.link/Spain World Cup plus 900. Let's get on that train. Interesting. From Jeffy F. Baby. Scordarrelle Patterson or T. Higgins for flex. It is a PPR league.
This one's
T. Higgins over under catches was 5.5. I saw.
T. Higgins over under 5.5.
Yeah, just high.
Damn, full point PPR. I think you got to go here. I mean, I think Cordarrelle's going to have a good game against Chicago, but he is splitting time. They are being a little careful about his usage.
Yeah.
So, I mean, with no Jamar Chase and full point PPR, I think. God, I hate mentioning Cordarrelle, though. But, I mean, Higgins and full point PPR is the number 1 receiver.
Yeah.
I think I'm going there.
Yeah, I like that.
I mean, like you said, if he catches – I mean, he could catch a lot of balls.
Let me see.
Hopefully Higgins is healthy. He's had a banged up year.
Yeah, we talked about David Montgomery a couple questions ago. Do you like him or Devontae Smith in flex?
So Devontae Smith's been up and down just because they've got a lot of bodies, but Dallas Goedert's out now. I also read something interesting this week that Indy plays a lot of zone, and when the Eagles are up against zone, they go to Devontae Smith more. I thought that was kind of interesting. And they go to A.J. Brown when it's man-to-man.
Interesting.
I know, and I thought that was kind of an interesting little nugget, but
yep,
kind of makes sense. I don't know if this is a half point or full point PPR because that is relevant. Obviously, if it's put PPR, I'm going Devontae Smith. These two, because Montgomery doesn't catch many passes. Who would you go with here?
I think I'm gonna go David Montgomery if I'm being honest.
I mean, Devontae's been kind of getting lost in the shuffle a little bit.
Yeah. All right, pick 2 PPR: Mike Williams, Josh Palmer, or Darius Slayton, who's been very hot, but he also draws. I keep
Jeff Okudah
using him with Darius Slay.
Okudah,
Jeff Okudah, yes.
Well, he replaced Slay, so it makes sense.
Yes.
The thing is, too, Kenny Galladay's out. Wan'Dale Robinson, I think, is trying to go, but he's banged up, too. I mean, they both have hamstring injuries. Kenny Galladay, man.
I was looking at Saquon's prop. It's just so dang high.
Well, it's 98.5 rushing, right?
And the fact that he got 35 carries last week kind of makes me worried because he had a very high volume carry earlier in the season, and then the next week I think he got like 17.
Well, Mike Williams had that huge first quarter in the Thursday night game against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Remember that? He had like 7. Remember you? That we had him in that prop. I think I'm going Mike Williams and Slayton here because, like we said, the Palmer thing with Keenan Allen and Williams back is hard to read.
Yep. Interesting one from Wyatt Lucia. Drake London or Paris Campbell? PPR.
I'm going with London here.
Yeah, Paris Campbell's been, flashing for sure. But I am not a believer in Paris Campbell just yet. Drake London, I think Chicago Atlanta is just points. Maybe I'll be wrong, but
no, I think that game, when you look at the schedule, that one has a chance to randomly just get kind of buck wild today.
Yep. From Noah Jensen, full point PPR, I need 1 running back and 1 flex. So I guess we're benching one of these guys. Jamal Williams, DeAndre Swift, DPJ. Who's DPJ?
That's what I was wondering. I was hoping you knew, so I didn't have to feel like an idiot.
It's got to be a junior. DPJ? I would say DeAndre Swift is an extremely risky start. He's gotten like 5 carries, 6 carries. Jamal Williams, I think, is a pretty safe play.
Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Donovan Peoples-Jones. Yes. So I think Jamal Williams, easy start. Now flex between DeAndre Swift and Donovan Peoples-Jones. I mean, I said DeAndre Swift is a really tough start, but Donovan Peoples-Jones, I do not love that. Going against Buffalo, they're getting Kaiir Elam back. Their defense is really good.
I hear you. This one's tough.
I'll say DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams, both Lions backfield guys, just so you can be covered if they get 2 touchdowns. But I don't love that pick, Swift versus Donovan Peoples-Jones. We got another DPJ question from our guy Nick Solis. Start 2 PPR: George Pickens, Brian Robinson, and Donovan Peoples-Jones. I think Brian Robinson you have to start going against the Texans, who are just the absolute worst team against the run in the NFL. I almost took his rushing prop today. I know that in PPR that devalues it a little bit, but I just think he has a day. I think he scores. So George Pickens and Donovan Peoples-Jones. We talked. I kind of like Pickens.
I like Pickens. I think him and Pickett got a little rookie connection thing going.
Yep. All right, we got time for a couple more.
I saw there's a super user one.
Oh, did not see. I'll look for that right after this one. For our guy Shark Talk, Cordell Patterson, Chuba Hubbard, Kenyon Drake, or James Robinson Jr.
Or is that Brian Robinson Jr.?
Oh, okay, yes, Brian Robinson Jr.
Not Hubbard.
Definitely not Hubbard. He's a clear last here.
Yeah, all 3 of these other ones are pretty intriguing, to be honest. Do you like I think just the over/under being lower in Baltimore, it makes me lean Cordarrelle or Robinson.
Yeah. I kind of like Drake of this bunch. Just
okay. No, Drake's not hand and all the other. He's gonna get the carries. That's fine.
I think they're just gonna take the air out of the ball in the second half. The high over/under actually doesn't bother me as much because I think it actually plays in the favor of running the football.
Okay.
Baltimore's gonna do anyway. From Ben Baker, I have Zeke and Mike Williams both of my bench and questionable. Do I keep Adam Thielen, Devontae Smith, Antonio Gibson in? So Justin Jefferson has turf toe. He's going to play, but I think that helps Thielen's value. Devontae Smith, we talked about with that being helpful, like with the zone coverage tip, and then Antonio Gibson. I actually kind of like.
I think Mike Williams is going to play, and I'd go with him.
Over who? You take out Thielen?
Maybe Gibson. Maybe, I don't know. What do you think?
I think it depends on the type of league, but if we're talking even half-point PPR, Gibson does catch a bunch of balls, though.
I know Thielen's had to move down here.
I would leave Devontae in. Zeke has been fairly safe. Yeah, this is tough because Mike Williams is playing in the night game. The Vikings game is at 4:25, though, Vikings-Cowboys. I think so my intuition is to play Williams and then bench Thielen, but you have that window, so you're not really going to know if he's officially in and good until later. So I think because of that, I think he actually probably is one of the best options in here, but it's risky to go with that just because you could get left out in the rain. So I actually would leave the starting lineup.
Okay.
If you're very, if you're okay with risk, I would put him in over Thielen, but it's more of a time thing than an actual guy thing. From Johnny D, Kyle Pitts or Michael Gallup?
I think I'm going with Pitts. Gallup, really, I keep waiting on him to get it going, and it hadn't really happened.
Yeah, I mean, same thing could be said about Pitts, but I think in this matchup, I think Pitts has a chance to do some things. Mm-hmm. You could probably say that every week.
We were down on him early before the year. At least we're not wrong on that.
Yes, a lot of people were very high on Kyle Pitts.
He's an easy guy to fall in love with because you look at his size speed combo. But
yeah. Ooh, this question from AV: Christian Kirk on a bye struggling receiver, Isaiah McKenzie or Ben Skoranek?
There's your chance.
I like Skoranek. I think this is a spot where he is playable. Here we go from BRG: Jimmy G or Danny Dimes?
I think I'm going Danny Dimes because the rushing value.
Yeah, it's going to be windy too, so I think he could see some decent volume carries wise. So, yeah, I'm with that. For flex, we going Damian Harris, DeAndre Swift, or Kadarius Toney?
Toney, for sure.
Yeah, I think this is an easy one.
I think the thing with Toney, too, is going to be interesting. I think they're going to be creative, finding ways to get him the ball. He's also likely to get some carries even.
Yep. Oh, here we go from Dereganator, our guy. Start bench, Thanksgiving sides edition. Stuffing, mashed potato, and dinner rolls.
I'm stuffing 1, rolls 2, mashed potatoes 3 is my order.
So you're dropping mashed potatoes?
Yeah. I like sweet potato. Thanksgiving, you got to go sweet potatoes, man.
I like them both. I'd probably drop dinner rolls. Start stuffing. I think stuffing's the goal.
Stuffing's got to start, man.
It's got to start.
The rolls thing is like a never-ending. Like I'll go on all these kicks where I won't eat bread, and then I'll just miss bread. It's a lot. We have a love-hate problem.
Yeah. From Josh Jada, Russell Wilson, Marcus Mariota, or Matthew Stafford this week? Not the best options. I'm going Marcus Mariota.
I'm going Mariota too.
I think that game just has such great potential scoring-wise. I think that from a quarterback perspective, even if they get a lot of rushing touchdowns, I think he's going to be moving the ball, matriculating the ball up and down the field. So I like Mariota there. Let's take one more before we get out of here. From Brian Vasero, Dameon Pierce, Deontay Foreman, or Brian Robinson. Not bad options.
Not bad options. I don't see how you can bench Pierce right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough matchup going against Washington. I think his over-under is like 78.5 rushing yards. But, yeah, Pierce has just been so hot. It'd be hard to –
I know Foreman did well, but the Foreman games that have been good have both been against Atlanta.
Yeah. Okay. This has been great. Ooh, good comment to end on. Shout out Ben Baker. Y'all are the best in the game. Let's keep that energy going. We appreciate everybody for listening. Thank you guys so much. For Ben Mintz, I'm Stephen Shea. Good luck. Hopefully we see you guys in the winner's circle on Tuesday.
New day today, boys. Let's get it. Thanks, Steve.
New day today. All right. Later, guys.